were arrested for organized scheme to defraud, grand theft, 3 counts of retail fuel theft, and also 3 counts obtaining fuel fraudulently, possession of a vehicle with an illegal tank or container, and threats of dealing in stolen property. So this is from yesterday, July 24th. Your attorney is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Thank you very much for calling me out of turn. I appreciate it.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Yes, forgive me, Lana Kukiela on behalf of the defendant.
Thank you. Okay, so let me, I need a moment to review. I don't know if you got the A form. Everything has to go through the clerk. I can't send it. If the PD does, it's they can do it.
They did send it to me, Your Honor, and we're very appreciative of that.
A lot of the times if there's a victim involved, then they can't send it because it's a Marcy law issue. So just try, I know it's hard, but you got to write to the clerk. Okay?
And we do try. The only issue is when we're hired just before a hearing, it's virtually impossible because the clerk's not even open yet before we're due to be before Your Honor.
All right, as long as you know. Thank you. Let me read it. Do you have any argument regarding probable cause?
Yes, Your Honor. Maybe it'll help expedite. It's almost verbatim the same as the one that we had yesterday in that same investigation for the fuel tanks, where this gentleman is accused of having gone and pumped at the same gas station from several pumps. So some of these counts are duplicative, and then went and pumped one time at a separate gas station. And just as the A form yesterday, there's no facts whatsoever from which we could conclude these credit cards are stolen. We're just told he uses some credit cards, but we don't know who owns the credit cards. There's not even a recitation that says they're stolen other than the charge itself. So that may expedite your review.
So Ms. Sturgis yesterday, I mean, he's stealing a lot of fuel. Yesterday, she agreed to
It was a total 15,000, Your Honor. So it was for each of the duplicative charges, just 1 count and the rest were ROR'd.
This one's a little bit more, and this is from yesterday. So he's at this he's doing this yesterday at the Wawa in Hialeah. Let me just read it through carefully.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is yesterday's case the same defendant or a different defendant, similar facts?
It was a different defendant, similar facts from the same investigation. And the only difference between today's A form and yesterday is that there's 2 gas stations involved. At one gas station, he pumps only once, and at the other, he pumps at several, two fuel pumps.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for that.
So if you wanted to bring in the detective to see if the credit card was stolen, you can do that. Then it would be probable cause, I guess, for everything.
And Your Honor, I would just argue that we're limited to the 4 corners here today. I don't think we'd be able to get the detective in over the weekend and then he'd be.
No, we're going to call him now.
I would waive if I just want to get him out before the weekend is my main concern. So I think my bigger argument is I'd be asking for ROR on those duplicative counts, same as we did yesterday.
But this one's not duplicative if he went to 2 different gas stations. Give me a moment to read everything, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he went to 2 pumps. That's what you said.
Yes. So it's
And the
duplicative
one
as to the 1 gas station.
So we had 4 separate transactions totaling $192. I'm sorry, totaling 191.161 gallons of diesel fuel from that first gas station, amounting to $697. He used 4 different Visa cards via contactless payment methods, and he lists the cards. It doesn't mention the cards being stolen. I think you should call in Ms. Sturgis, can you get the officer in or deputy? Or
I will do my best, Judge. Yes, if you want to pass briefly, I can
call him now while we're waiting. It's fine.
Okay, great. Well, then we'll wait. I'm going to try and pull up a number. If you'll just give me a moment.
I'm still reading anyway. So they're saying he has a bladder in there because a fuel bladder, since his car, the tank has a capacity of 32 gallons, but the vehicle took 192.161 gallons of diesel.
And I think there is PCS to that charge, Your Honor, based on that recitation. My concern is as to the fuel theft, obtaining fuel fraudulently, and the dealing in stolen property.
Right, it doesn't mention the cards are stolen. He shouldn't have to pay a bond on it if that's not what's if they can't establish PC on that.
I agree. I just don't want him stuck in over the weekend if we can't get through to the detective.
So then he goes, like 2 hours later, he goes to another Wawa gas station in Hialeah Gardens.
And their fuel's at just the one pump.
He fuels for 19 minutes. And he got 165 gallons of diesel fuel, $580. He utilized 4 different credit cards. There's another one, though. And then he goes back to a fuel yard where the stolen diesel fuel is believed to have been unloaded. Then at 102, he's seen exiting the fuel yard and a mobile surveillance is established. He's seen parking at a Wawa gas station, pump 3. This is at 102, so I guess he goes back to the one in Hialeah. And somebody's communicating with Mr. Lazardo Sanchez. Somebody makes a contact payment and he begins fueling into the bladder for approximately 7 minutes. And he goes back and refuels again. The detective, this time, it was from 2 different pumps. He pumped 48.6 gallons, $175 using a Visa card. And then the unidentified male completed 4 more transactions for $700. So there's like a whole fuel theft ring going on here, because I've seen you like 3 days in a row for these cases.
Just twice, Your Honor. I've only had the pleasure twice.
Oh,
I
I saw something, somebody else was here then.
It
Maybe
might have been, I think there are a number of arrests on this same investigation. So I do think there's certainly probable cause for the fuel tank. And there's bond and the organized scheme to defraud, and there's bonds on those counts already set of 2,500.
But
It's
there's
just
no bond on the
fuel theft, the obtaining the fuel
Yeah.
fraudulently, or the dealing stolen, which all relate to them having evidence that these cards were stolen.
Sir, you are ordered to stay away from the Wawa gas station at 2901 West 16th Avenue in Hialeah, Florida. And also the Wawa gas station in Hialeah Gardens. I gotta get the address because I didn't get a stay away order for that. It's at 7878 Northwest 103rd Street in Hialeah Gardens, Florida. You're not allowed to go to those Wawa gas stations. You must stay away from there, sir. Do you understand? So, any luck, Ms. Sturgis, or no?
No, Judge, I tried calling and now I sent a text. It went straight to voicemail, so I sent a text message, and I have not
All
heard
right.
back.
So you want me to set a bond? I will.
Yes, Your Honor, I don't want him stuck in over the weekend. I would just ask that we do what we did yesterday, and for the charges that relate to the same gas station, I'd be asking for an ROR.
I'm not going to do that. I'm setting bonds. If you're okay with me setting bonds, I may
Yes,
lower
Your Honor.
setting bonds. Count 1, organized scheme to defraud. There's probable cause for that. I'll split 1 and 2. Count 1 is $1,000. Count 2 is $1,500 for grand theft. Count 3, retail theft of fuel. I'll set that bond at $2,500. Count 1, 1,000. Count 2, and 1,000. Count 3. I'm sorry, 1, 2. I meant 1.
That was count
right.
3, 4, and 5, Your Honor.
3, 4, and 5, right. Count 6, obtaining fuel fraudulently is $2,500. Although that's a second-degree felony. Count 6 will be $5,000. Count 7 is $2,500. Count 8 is $2,500. I'm sorry, count 9 is, let me go back. 1, 2, and 3. 1 is 1,000, 2 is 1,500, 3 is 2,500. Count 4 and 5.
1,000.
1,000 each. Okay, so count 6, obtaining fuel fraudulently is $5,000. Count 7 is $2,500. Count 8 is $2,500. Count 9, possession of a vehicle with an illegal tank or container is $2,500. And count 10, dealing in stolen property, it's 3 counts of that. Count 10 will be 25. What do you want me to do? Just split them all? I'll do 1,000, count 10.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Count 11 will be 1,000 and count 12 will be 500. All right. I should do it.
Thank you.
I won't, and I should do house arrest. You come back again, you'll be locked up in jail until your trial. You have a good lawyer, listen to what she tells you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, let's talk about that. This hearing with Judge Mindy Glazer certainly had its hands full. And I gotta say, she handled it with her usual calm, firm control, and a splash of wry courtroom wit. The defendant here, Mr. Lazardo Sanchez, was facing quite the list of allegations related to some creative fuel activities, and while we're not here to speculate on guilt, the facts presented in court painted a busy day at a couple of Wawa gas stations. Defense counsel Ms. Cookie Ella was sharp and respectful, clearly doing her best to keep her client from spending the weekend behind bars. She raised thoughtful objections about the lack of probable cause for some charges, especially those related to allegedly stolen credit cards that weren't clearly documented in the affidavit. Judge Glazer listened carefully, asked for patience as she reviewed the details, and ultimately decided to set bonds across the board rather than release, on recognizance, especially given the repeat nature of the conduct across 2 different stations and multiple transactions. The most interesting moment came with the math when the alleged diesel fuel purchases far exceeded what the defendant's vehicle should reasonably hold. That led to discussion of a fuel bladder tank, and, the judge is tuned in when she starts quoting gallons and timestamps like she's narrating a true crime doc. The courtroom atmosphere stayed composed, even when the judge remarked that she'd seen similar cases multiple times this week, adding just enough dry humor. To keep things human, attempts were made to reach a detective for further clarification on the credit cards. But when that didn't pan out, Judge Glazer kept things moving with well-reasoned bond amounts, totaling across various charges from organized schemes to illegal tanks. She also issued stay-away orders from the gas stations in question and gave the defendant a firm but fair warning. Come back again. And it's house arrest or worse. In the end, it was another example of a judge managing a complex, paperwork-heavy situation without drama, just straight talk, careful legal footing, and a courtroom that ran like a tight ship. If you found this hearing insightful, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and letting me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one,